Roman Reigns' absence from WWE programming has been hard on Paul Heyman as the veteran has had to deal with Solo Sikoa-led bloodline running rampant. While the Wisemen would be hoping for the tribal chief to return soon and save him, there is another name that could protect him from Solo and the Tonga brothers. Jacob Fatu is one of the most dreaded wrestlers in the current time and has made a name for himself across different independent promotions across the world. The 32-year-old could also benefit a lot from being the Paul Heyman guy right off the bat. While Paul Heyman has been appearing with the Bloodline on WWE programming, it is visible that the Wiseman is stressed working around Solo Sikoa and the Tongan brothers. Heyman appears to be the trio's hostage and always looks tense around them. Paul has also revealed in the past that he is not in touch with the tribal chief and thus, the latter coming to save him soon looks unlikely. This could be the perfect opportunity for WWE to debut Jacob Fatu, with Heyman bringing him in as a shield against Bloodline 2.0. It was reported during the WrestleMania 40 season that the star has signed a deal with Global Juggernaut. The Samoan Werewolf is expected to make his on-screen debut soon and will likely be involved in the ongoing Bloodline storyline. Roman Reigns has been with Paul Heyman since 2020. Paul Heyman has managed some of the greatest names in pro wrestling. The 58-year-old veteran aligned with Roman Reigns in 2020 after the latter returned as a heel. The pairing worked wonders for Reigns' career as the tribal chief went on to become one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time. However, the duo have not been seen together since Reigns lost to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. The former undisputed WWE Universal Champion has been on a hiatus since dropping the title, leaving Heyman alone with Solo Sikoa and the new Bloodline. There is still no word on when Roman Reigns could return to action. Solo Sikoa has been running the Bloodline in his absence. The Enforcer's first action as the interim leader was to kick out Jimmy USO and add Tama Tonga to the group. Tonga Loa also joined the ranks of the Bloodline a few weeks later. In the dimly lit corridors of the WWE backstage area, chaos reigned supreme. Paul Heyman, the mastermind behind some of the greatest champions in wrestling history, found himself in a predicament far worse than any he had ever faced. Roman Reigns, his tribal chief and the current Universal Champion, was nowhere to be found. Rumors were swirling that Reigns had been sidelined by a mysterious injury, leaving Heyman vulnerable and exposed to the predatory eyes of the entire roster. Heyman paced back and forth in his office, his mind racing. For years, he had been the puppet master, pulling the strings behind the scenes to ensure his client's success. Now, with Reigns out of the picture, the strings had been cut, and the puppet master was dangling over the abyss. Heyman's thoughts turned to the possibility of enlisting another ally, but who could fill the massive void left by Reigns? The locker room was filled with talent, but trust was a rare commodity in this business. Just as despair began to set in, a shadow fell across the threshold of Heyman's office. He looked up, his eyes widening in disbelief. Standing there, with a presence that commanded attention, was none other than John Cena. Cena, the face of the company for over a decade, had been absent from the WWE for some time, pursuing his career in Hollywood. His return was unexpected and, to Heyman, a beacon of hope in the storm. "Paul," Cena said, his voice carrying the weight of years of experience and battles fought, "I hear you're in need of some help." Heyman, never one to show weakness, straightened his posture and attempted to mask his relief. "John, you have impeccable timing. But I have to ask, why now? Why come back now when everything is falling apart?" Cena stepped further into the room, closing the door behind him. "I've always kept an ear to the ground, Paul. This business is in my blood. And when I heard what happened to Roman, I knew I had to come back. This company needs stability, and you need someone you can rely on." Heyman steadied Cena's face, searching for any hint of deception. Finding none, he nodded slowly. "All right, John. But this isn't just about stepping into Roman's shoes. The entire locker room is gunning for me. They know I'm vulnerable without Reigns. Can you handle that kind of heat?" Cena's eyes hardened, a steely determination settling over his features. "I've handled worse, Paul. Trust me. The following weeks saw a dramatic shift in the WWE landscape. Cena's return electrified the fanbase, and his alliance with Heyman brought a new dynamic to the company. While Cena's persona had always been that of the ultimate good guy, his partnership with the cunning Heyman added layers of complexity to his character. The WWE Universe was captivated, watching as Cena navigated the treacherous waters of loyalty and ambition. But not everyone was thrilled about Cena's return. In the shadows, a faction of superstars began to plot against Heyman and his new ally. Leading this group was Seth Rollins, a former Heyman guy who felt betrayed by the manager's latest alliance. Rollins had always seen himself as the rightful heir to Reigns' throne, and Cena's return threatened to derail his plans. Rollins gathered a formidable group of wrestlers, including Kevin Owens and Finn Balor, to challenge Cena's dominance. They struck swiftly and without mercy, ambushing Cena during a live event and leaving him battered in the ring. The message was clear: Heyman and Cena were marked men. Despite the attack, Cena refused to back down. He appeared on the next episode of SmackDown, sporting bruises and a defiant grin. "You think that's enough to stop me?" he taunted Rollins and his crew from the center of the ring. "You have no idea who you're dealing with." The weeks that followed were a brutal game of cat and mouse. Cena and Heyman were constantly on guard, never knowing when Rollins and his faction would strike next. The tension reached a boiling point when Rollins challenged Cena to a match at the upcoming pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell. It was a challenge Cena couldn't refuse. The stakes were set: if Cena won, Rollins and his faction would disband. If Rollins won, Heyman would be forced to leave the WWE for good. The night of Hell in a Cell arrived, and the atmosphere was electric. The WWE Universe was buzzing with anticipation as Cena and Rollins stepped into the demonic structure. The match was a brutal, back-and-forth affair, with both men pulling out all the stops. Heyman watched from ringside, his heart in his throat, knowing that everything hinged on this match. As the battle raged on, it became clear that neither man was willing to give an inch. Rollins, fueled by a desire for vengeance, fought with a ferocity that matched Cena's legendary resilience. The cell itself seemed to groan under the weight of their conflict, the steel structure bearing witness to their unyielding determination. In the climactic moments of the match, Rollins attempted his finishing move, the curb stomp, but Cena countered with a thunderous attitude adjustment. The crowd erupted as Cena went for the pin, the referee's hand slapping the mat for the final 3 count. Cena had done it. He had defeated Rollins and secured Heyman's future. The cell was raised, and Cena, battered and bruised, extended a hand to Heyman. The two men stood victorious, a testament to their unlikely alliance. The WWE Universe roared its approval, witnessing the dawn of a new era. In the aftermath, Cena addressed the crowd. "This business is about more than just titles and rivalries. It's about loyalty and fighting for what you believe in. Paul Heyman and I might not see eye to eye on everything, but we share a respect for this industry. And as long as I'm here, no one is taking that away from us." Heyman, for once, was at a loss for words. He nodded in agreement, knowing that Cena's return had not only saved his career but also reignited a fire within the WWE. With Reigns on the mend and Cena standing tall, the future looked brighter than ever. In the end, it wasn't just one man who saved Paul Heyman. It was the indomitable spirit of the WWE, embodied by a legend who refused to let the company he loved fall into chaos. Cena's return was more than just a comeback. It was a reminder that in the world of professional wrestling, heroes can emerge from the unlikeliest of alliances, and the fight for legacy is never over.